Tropical Cyclone Pam has weakened, and as you can see from this satellite image, it's now moving past New Zealand. About 2,000 homes in Auckland lost power overnight as it hit the top of the country with strong winds and heavy rain. We're now learning of the devastation it caused in the South Pacific nation of Vanuatu. The first set of international aid workers have arrived with supplies, and after assessing the damage, one Oxfam executive says the situation on the ground is, quote, worse than the worst case scenario. The agency says at least 90% of housing in Vanuatu's capital is seriously damaged. There are fears there's more destruction in remote areas where tens of thousands of people live in homes made out of thatch. The monster storm hit the South Pacific island chain on Friday, killing at least 6 people. And right now, getting clean water and sanitation to victims is a priority. Lynn Cox is an aid worker at the relief organisation Medical Santo in Port Vila, Vanuatu, and she joins us now via Skype. And Nichola, Krey, head of humanitarian affairs at Save the Children, is on the phone. And I'll start with you, Nichola. We've just learned that some 60,000 children are in need of assistance, according to UNICEF. I imagine clean drinking water and protection from waterborne diseases are the first priority.
Absolutely. Look, we're expecting that many, many more children are going to be affected. Vanuatu consists of 83 islands. I'm here on a whātei in the capital, Port Vila. There's devastation everywhere. I shudder to think the devastation on the outer islands where they really copped the brunt of the cyclone.
And
we're worried for children. We're worried that they're not being protected. They don't have access to fresh water or food. We have tens of thousands of people in evacuation centres. We're trying to get them aid as quickly as possible, but being on an island, we have to fly everything in.
Oh, that's it. It's pretty tricky because the country is obviously made up of dozens of islands. It's difficult to reach them without boats or planes. So how is this logistically going to happen?
It's going to be a complex logistical exercise. We're going to need helicopters to land on islands. As you'll appreciate, not all islands have landing strips. So we're going to need to chopper in food and water and shelter and get it to children and their families who need it the most.
Okay, and let's bring in Lynn now. And Lynn, you've met with the WHO, the Ministry of Health and the Vanuatu Disaster Relief Team. What's the initial plan there to deal with the injured?
Hi, Lynda. At the moment, they're bringing them into Vila Hospital, but that's just from a whātei. As your previous guest said, that the communication to the other islands is limited, and we're thinking Tafia province and Panama province are going to be quite devastated. Once commercial planes have started flying again, maybe we can get into some of the strips, or we can use some local inter-island ships.
And last time I was there with you, Lynn, in Vanuatu doing some aid work, your focus and your husband's focus, Alan, was on education. Now you're with the Medical Santo organisation. You're helping to fly in medical staff. Can you tell us where they're coming from and what their role will be?
Okay, our clinical support coordinator, who works full-time in Australia as an intensive care flight paramedic, he's flying in as a volunteer on Tuesday with a team, a medical team that we have arriving from Germany, from Medica in Germany, and they're going to the north to Santo because Santo Hospital has been still functioning, and then we're hoping to go out to the islands in the north from there because obviously they're quite isolated, but we'll have access to local boats to go out to Umbai, Pentecost, Maivo Island.
And Lynn, these are obviously very resilient people. I obviously spent a bit of time there with you, and they're very friendly and very open. Describe the sort of people and how will they get through this?
Well, it just struck me yesterday when I walked down to the ocean front here in Vila. Everything was closed and I just had some water and crackers to eat because there was nothing else. And people were already down at the Mama's Market starting to rebuild their little shops so that they can sell, because the produce here on the island has been wiped out. The bananas, the pawpaws have been stripped, so they need to keep selling. And when the tourist comes, they need to have their sarongs and their leis and their woven baskets that they make to sell to the tourists. So they're already starting to rebuild their little shops.
It's amazing how quickly they're trying to get their life back together. And obviously education is a big priority, trying to get the children back into some sort of normality and some sort of class situation. What will happen there?
I'm not sure there, Lynda. I think a big thing at the moment is water and sanitation. Water is being flown in, I believe, and just to educate the people at the moment to be careful of what they're drinking, because if disease breaks out from unclean drinking water, we're going to have a major problem.
And Nichola, you might be able to help answer that in terms of education. How will, what would be the priority in terms of trying to get children back into school and trying to give them some sort of normality there? We may have lost Nichola. Her battery on her phone was running low. Nichola Krey from Save the Children was joining us, and Lynn Cox, we really appreciate your time again this morning. We know it's still very early there, and we wish you all the best with your work.
Thank you, Lynda.
And if you would like to help the people of Vanuatu devastated by Cyclone Pam, just go to our website at cnn.com/impact. You'll find a list of organisations who are on the ground there. That's cnn.com/impact.